Hey, welcome to the Everything SEO podcast. I'm Michaela, a stay-at-home mom of 3 who just happens to be in love with everything related to SEO, blogging, marketing, coffee, and we're shedding light into the many mystifying corners of search engine optimization and what that means for us service providers, small business owners, and bloggers. We're going to ditch the do-it-all narrative surrounding SEO and really sit down and craft strategies that are sustainable, but still get us those first-page results. Now let's get cozy, grab your fave sweater and a cup of tea, and let's talk everything SEO. Hello, and welcome back to Everything SEO. I don't know if you listened to last week's episode, but I did do a little bit of a deep dive into what is included in my clients' content calendars and what I think you should include in yours. If you already have a content calendar, don't worry about it. But if you don't, I highly recommend heading back to that episode, listening to it, because that information is going to help you with today's podcast episode. Because today we're going to be covering some of the blog post ideas that you can use as a service provider to help you sell your services and nurture your audience and just kind of build that relationship. You know what I mean? So these are kind of like the blog post ideas that I really recommend that you start on, or at least start with for your ideation. You don't have to write these exact ones, but it kind of gives you an idea of where to start. And normally when you can pin down 1 or 2 or even 3 different blog post ideas, it kind of can stem others. Even whether it's, right when you're thinking of it, or as you start writing it, you're like, okay, this could be an awesome blog post, or this could be an awesome blog post. You just need a little time to do the research and make sure it's an awesome blog post. So we're just going to cover 3 different ones today, and potentially a little bit of a variation of how you could use each one. So these are the 3 blog post ideas that I recommend you start with to help sell your services. All right, so post number 1, 5 ways to solve your client's problem for your audience. So for example, it could be, if I was writing one, I would write 5 ways to improve SEO for service providers. So obviously you could put your last one, number 5 on your list as you, and if you're solving this problem for your audience. But I love this one because you're problem solving. You're looking at a pain point or even multiple pain points to connect with your audience on. And you don't have to do this in a negative aspect. You can definitely do this in a positive way and just provide support rather than saying hey, you're doing this wrong and this is how you do it right. Well, say, hey, this is how you can do it easier. This is an easier way to do it. And it doesn't have to specifically be 5 ways either. It can be 3, it could be 7. I do recommend sticking with odd because it has been shown that, starting your blog post with an odd number is more likely to get click-throughs. But think of some common problems that your clients approach you with, or that are pain points, and talk about how they can solve those problems. And I know it might be difficult and you're like, I don't want to give away this information. I promise you, unless you are putting them into cognitive overload and you're just giving too much information, you're not going to give too much information. Either they're going to DIY it or they're going to get it done for them. There's normally and if you're not giving them the information, the internet is a big place. They're probably going to find it elsewhere. So if you want to give them value, give it to them. So for number 2, when to hire a blank for your business. So aka that blank spot is going to be what you do. So for me, that would be when to hire an SEO for your small business, or when to hire a blog content writer for your small business. Or if it was somebody else, say when to hire a Instagram marketer for your business. And it doesn't have to be a business either. You can replace business with whatever your audience would do. So if you're say you're a wedding photographer, you could say when to hire a photographer for your wedding. So this is essentially telling your audience when to come to you. And this is typically something that people search because a lot of people are looking to outsource. They're just not sure when is the right time to do it, because it can feel like the right time to do it, but say maybe it's not, or maybe there's something that they is a pre-qualifier that they're not aware of. So specifically for blog content writing, one of my pre-qualifiers is I ask that you're comfortable in your offers, because a lot of the stuff that we're going to write about is going to be based on your offers. And if you're not comfortable and confident in the offers you're providing, like, we can't work together. So in my when to hire a blog content writer for your business, one of those things is going to be, there's not necessarily a time frame, but these are some points that you need to have done or be familiar with or have accomplished before you can work with me, or before I recommend working with me, because I want my clients, and you should want your clients, to get the most out of what we're doing together. And that means that there are some pre-qualifying things for that. Bonus points, of course, if you can, if you work with a specific niche and can make business a little bit more specific too. So rather than for your business, it could be when to hire an SEO for your creative business, when to hire a SEO for your service-based business. So you can get more specific with that too. Call to action should be when is the right time to hire you specifically. And you can say your brand name, your name. If you have a little checklist, of course, you can throw that in there too. And you can say two different options. You can say, if you're ready to hire me, go here. And if you're not quite sure it's time, then you can subscribe to my email list or download this freebie and give them an option too. Obviously, phrase it a little better, but those are some call to action ideas. Now, post number 3, why your service is important for your audience. So why SEO, for me, it would be why SEO is important for service providers, or why SEO is important for small business owners. If you're a copywriter, it would be why copywriting is important for small business owners. Or if you have a more niche specific idea, it could be why copywriting is important for service-based businesses or service providers. So you're essentially telling them why. Why should they hire you? And it's okay. So these things seem really simple, but they're giving you a really good basis. And I promise you, when you start writing these, you're going to be like, oh, there's a whole nother blog post I could write about this topic that I'm, mentioning in this. Or for your first one, the 5 ways for your audience, the problem solving one, I would bet money that for each way, you could probably dedicate an entire blog post. You probably have so much to say about it. And you absolutely should. You should write more blog posts on them and go way more into depth, and then backlink them together, because internal linking is so useful and valuable for SEO and user experience. For this last one, blog post number 3, why your service is important for your audience, call to action should be you and the problems you solve. Like I said, these blog posts are great to start with because the call to action is going to be your services page, and you can easily integrate soft sells, so backlink them for your lower tier offers, digital products, and even your lead magnets and our other resources like podcast episodes, YouTube videos. You get the whole idea within your content. Now, all 3 of these blog post ideas fit perfectly into a content calendar and will help you build out these content clusters, especially that problem solving one, and even the when to hire or the why. Those are super important ones to start explaining strategies to your audience too, and really start building those interconnecting blog posts. So I hope that you were able to kind of get an idea of what your next blog post is going to be, or even your first blog post is going to be, using these 3 super simple blog post ideas. But that is it for today. Just wanted to leave you with something super actionable so that you can start getting those creative juices flowing. And of course, if you want to make content planning just a little bit easier, you can grab a copy of my own content calendar. It is based in Airtable, but that is linked in the show notes down below. That is it for today, and I cannot wait to talk to you next week. Bye. As always, I hope you are able to learn at least one new thing today and how you can apply it to your own business or blog. Thanks for listening to this episode of Everything SEO. Don't forget to hit follow so you don't miss the next episode. It's a goodie, and check the show notes for everything we talked about today. And come connect with me on Instagram at comamama.co if you have any questions or thoughts you want to share. Talk soon.